Ever wonder what the experience of living in a virtual reality world would be like? If you ever did, stop wondering because you can start living it on Decentraland. Decentraland has developed an Ethereum-powered platform where people worldwide can connect, create, and exchange assets or valuable tokens in an eco-friendly virtual environment. Decentraland is a Web3 virtual reality-based platform enabling users to connect over 3D or 2D interface. And you can become a part of this experience when you access Decentraland through your computer or mobile device. Decentraland maintains its functionality through a 3-layered Ethereum smart contract protocol, those being a consensus layer, a content layer, and a real-time layer. Each layer works together to give users a wholesome virtual world experience. The consensus layer tracks the ownership of land parcels and other assets, and then records it on a blockchain ledger. The content layer renders the files representing users' virtual assets through a decentralized system. And finally, the real-time layer allows users to establish peer-to-peer connections for interacting and exchanging assets on Decentraland, aka land parcels, or as they are commonly called, NFTs. Decentraland was the first ever created metaverse. Today, it remains the largest decentralized open source platform after achieving its first milestone in June of 2015. Decentraland launched its mainnet in February 2020. Decentraland distinguishes itself from other virtual reality platforms by providing users with a fully decentralized metaverse experience. It's essentially built, owned, and governed by users. This is reflected in the fact that all proposed decisions are made through votes cast by community members. Now that we know what Decentraland is, let's talk about its tokenomics. Mana. Decentraland's token circulates over 1.5 million mana. It has a total supply of 1.8 billion mana. The market cap is over $700 million. In August of 2017, Decentraland started its initial coin offering. The funding round there raised $25.5 million with an average sale price of 0.028 cents. Later in October of 2018, $500,000 was raised. The mana tokens were sold more expensive for 0.073 cents. According to ICOdrops.com, Decentraland has returned roughly 16.88x since ICO. However, if you take the all-time high into consideration, the returns are far higher than that. Now that's a lot if you ask me. But Decentraland is a Web3 project, and the way its tokens are used is different from other cryptocurrencies. Decentraland has 2 crypto tokens on its platform. These tokens are known as LAND and MANA. The LAND token is a non-fungible token, NFT, designed to remain on Decentraland. Land also represents the ownership of assets on Decentraland. Therefore, with enough land tokens, you can create and purchase services. Also parcels of land and several other assets that give you access to the whole virtual reality experience. Mana is the other token on Decentraland's exchange for ETH. It's an ERC20 token used for making transactions on Decentraland. I suggest you visit their webpage and walk around to see how it all works. Also affecting tokenomics is the burns or destruction of mana tokens. This lowers the total max supply when it happens. Right now, up to 21% of mana tokens have been burned, about 600 million mana tokens. Compared to the quantity of burnt mana tokens, a small sum of only 55 million units is locked in Decentraland smart contracts. A high ratio between burnt and locked tokens creates scarcity, which is good for the value of the token. Decentraland designed its smart contract to keep a high ratio by systematically burning tokens when certain transactions occur. For instance, selling land on Decentraland incurs a 2.5% burn of the total sale price. That burning mechanism is great because it keeps mana tokens minimal and pushes the price up. This leads us into price action and total value law. On January 23, 2023, Decentraland made its near-term bottom at just under 29 cents. It would then rocket ship to the top to over 0.84 cents, 192% gain. This near doubling is crazy, but very typical in the crypto market, and it's why you should stay in the game. If you like that, take a look at what happened at the end of 2021. And the price of Mana went from 74 cents on October 21st, 2021, then to the moon at $5.94 at its all-time high, a 689% increase in less than 2 months. Wow, that's cryptocurrency gains at the very best. Imagine if you took that trade, you would be sitting pretty. That being said, you must also protect yourself to the downside. From that peak at $5.14, right around there, the price dropped 94% to the downside. Anyone who got caught in that trade learned that at some point you sell everything and cash out. The potential gains are no longer worth the risk. On DeFi Llama, there is no Mana token, as Mana is a virtual world that resembles a video game-like valuation. Its price depends on NFT sales, sentiment on virtual reality, and of course Web3. I have no doubt that at some point in the future, or in the next bull run, VR and Web3 will peak again. Often leading those peaks are technological milestones, and that brings us to our next topic, technology. According to the Decentraland white paper, the project has an architecture system of 3 layers: a consensus layer, a content layer, and a real-time layer, which we spoke about earlier. Also very important are the payment channels. Also, the identity systems for the land parcels. The payment channels of the Decentraland use low trust hub and spoke payment channel networks that allow for fast payments and low cost transactions. These payment channels also help ensure that users can conveniently make in-world purchases and utilize the P2P server on Decentraland. The aim of the payment channel is less complications during an interaction, allowing for smooth in-game purchases. The identity system of Decentraland provides a unique ownership experience where the credentials you own are based on the coordinates of your purchased land. This identity system effectively allows Decentraland to create a layer of ownership over its users' assets. That is how the NFT works, so no one's land parcel is ever confused with anybody else's. Decentraland was written using C#, GLSL, and HTML coding languages, among others. The code used for writing Decentraland provides a user-friendly interface with a high level of functionality. Users need that to execute activities on the virtual reality platform. All of this innovation was done at the end of the day by regular people. So why don't we talk about Decentraland's ecosystem and the developers who built it? Decentraland was developed by 2 Argentine developers, Ariel Meliich and Esteban Ordano. Aside from being co-founders of the Decentraland project, Ariel and Esteban have gathered significant technical knowledge and achievements relating to the blockchain network. Ariel studied philosophy at the University of Buenos Aires. He then obtained a Bachelor's of Science in Neuroscience from Hunter College. After completing his studies, Ariel worked as a market research analyst at CRV and co-founded Benich, an IT service and consulting company based in his home country of Argentina. However, as of April 2020, Ariel resigned from Decentraland and became a co-founder of Big Time Studio, which he founded. That being said, Ariel continues to serve as an advisor of Decentraland and was critical in its formation. Esteban studied software engineering and information technology at the Instituto Tecnológico de Buenos Aires. Interestingly enough, he interned at Google. He played key roles on several crypto projects, such as BitPay Wallet, Smart Contract Solutions, and Polygon. If you want to know more about Polygon, click the link above when I cover Polygon in greater detail. Esteban has a terrific background, and it's no surprise that he was able to set up such a great payment channel. A background like his is what you really want to see in your founder. Lots of past blockchain experience and successful projects. This is an indicator of future success. Another indicator is partnership. Decentraland has hosted numerous events and partnered with many big names in the cryptocurrency and gaming industries. One of its most significant landmark partnerships will be its most recent cooperation with Polygon. That partnership led to a surge in Mana price of 20.78% within 24 hours of the announcement. Aside from Polygon, Decentraland has collaborated with many projects that have helped to solidify its footing in the blockchain world. Some of Decentraland's partners and supporters include Binance, Ethereum, Under Armour, Samsung, FBG Capital, Cyberpunk, Digital Currency Group, Animoca Brands, Licht, Cobalt, and Empire, among many other partnerships. This is quite the lineup of companies. More recently, Decentraland will host Metaverse Art Week from July 19th to July 23rd. This will be its 4th year running. This year's theme is "The Metaverse is Dead, Long Live the Metaverse." This event will be held, of course, in Decentraland and could be a good precursor of what direction Decentraland takes next, not just for Decentraland in particular, but for the Metaverse in general. As someone who appreciates Web3 and art, I will be checking out that event. Decentraland has established itself as one of the major players of the Metaverse and plans to continue developing its virtual platform through innovative partnerships and updates to its blockchain technology. However, there is major interest and competition in the marketplace for the Metaverse, which is like companies fighting over becoming the next Amazon. So up next, I will cover the competition. Several platforms compete in the Metaverse sector with Decentraland. The top competitor is Sandbox, Gala, Floki, and Blocktopia. Let's start things off with Sandbox. Sandbox could be considered as one of the top alternatives to Decentraland, but several features differentiate them. Sandbox has supplied its platform with over 150,000 plots of estates, while Decentraland holds around 90,000 parcels of land. Sandbox is also more accessible with multiple options for interaction on its platform. However, Decentraland only enables access by wallet connection, making it a less accessible platform. The market cap for Sandbox is $867 million, and interestingly, the Sand token has a max supply of 3 billion. Seems like I should make an episode about them next. Gala is the next one I want to talk about. Gala is a blockchain-powered virtual reality gaming platform. Unlike Decentraland, which offers social experiences such as hosted events and concerts, Gala is designed mainly as a framework for developers to build games. I have played some of their games. You can go to ev.io and play a first-person shooter for free, which I do from time to time. Gala's market cap is $661 million, and according to CoinGecko, has a max supply of 50 billion tokens, which is more than Sandbox. Next on the list is Floki. Many people think of Floki Inu as a dog-themed unicorn, but it's more than that. Floki Inu aims to create an NFT gaming metaverse, NFT merchandise, NFT marketplace, and an educational platform. You can tell from their aims that they plan to compete with Decentraland, so I consider them as an alternative to using Decentraland. They have a market cap of 240 million, a total max supply of 10 trillion tokens. Most of that is already in circulation. Finally, on a list of Decentraland competitors, we have Blocktopia. Blocktopia is another metaverse platform with blockchain technology, but with a different environment. Unlike Decentraland, where users buy parcels of land, Blocktopia users can buy floor space from a 21st century building. Blocktopia is in development, and its growth will also leave room for profit. The project continues to be successful, right? Besides buying floor spaces, users can trade, interact, and play games against each other or simply learn about crypto. Since it's still in development, the only known stat is that it has 200 million token supply.